Anybody can lose weight for a few weeks. The internet is absolutely full of people who drop 10 pounds in a month and couldn't wait to tell you all about it. But here's the question almost nobody asks, and it's the one that actually matters. Are they still keeping it off a year later? 5 years later? 8 years later? Because that right there is the part nobody talks about. And it's exactly where most people quietly lose the battle. So today, I'm pulling back the curtain on the thing the whole industry skips right over. What it actually takes to keep the weight off for good. Welcome to the Feel Better, Live Free podcast, brought to you by Thinlicious. I'm your host, Lisa Joy Thompson, and every week we bring you the science, the stories, and the straight talk you need to feel better and live free. From real food to hormone health to breaking free from yo-yo dieting for good. This is the show for every woman who's ready to stop surviving and start thriving. Settle in, friend. What you're about to hear might just change everything. Friend, I am so glad you're here today, and I want to talk about something that I think gets almost completely ignored out there. Because think about it for a second. The entire weight loss world is built around one single thing: losing weight. Every program, every ad, every before and after photo you've ever seen, it's all about how to take the weight off. And then after that, nothing. Silence. Nobody tells you what actually happens next. Nobody teaches you how to live once you finally get there. And meanwhile, you've probably heard that grim little statistic that gets thrown around that, the one that says the vast majority of people who lose weight end up gaining it all back, usually with a little extra on top. It's enough to make you wonder why you should even bother. Like the whole thing is rigged against you before you even begin. Well, today I want to tell you the other side of that story because I lost over 100 pounds and I've kept it off for 8 years. Not 8 weeks, not 8 months, 8 years. So today I'm going to tell you the honest truth about the part they always skip and everything I've actually learned about keeping the weight off for the long haul. Now, let me back up for just a second because I never want to talk to you as someone who's got it all figured out. At my heaviest, I weighed 288 pounds. And I was overweight for most of my adult life. I set a goal to lose 25 pounds so many times and 50 pounds. And even I had a goal for years and years and years to lose 100 pounds before I turned 40. And it didn't happen. So when I finally lost over 100 pounds, that was a very big deal. And yes, I am super proud of it. But honestly, the number I'm the most proud of isn't the 100 plus pounds I've lost. It's the 8 years that I've kept it off. Because here's the truth that took me a long time to understand. Losing the weight, as hard as it was not actually the hardest part. Anybody can have a good month. Anybody can white knuckle their way through one good season. The real test, the thing that separates a temporary before and after photo from an actual changed life, is what happens in all the years that come after the photo. And that's exactly what I want to hand you today. Everything I've learned about keeping the weight off. Okay, so the first thing nobody tells you about is this. Maintenance is not going back to normal. I think a lot of us carry around this idea that we will lose the weight and then we'll go back to eating what we always used to eat, just maybe a little more carefully this time. But friend, I have to be honest with you. The way I used to eat is part of the problem, right? That's what got me to 288 pounds in the first place. Going back to that was never really an option because the road only ever leads to one place. So this was never some temporary thing I did until I hit a number. It has become my life. And once I made peace with that, once I stopped waiting to go back and started building something I could actually live inside of, everything got easier. And that leads me straight into the second thing because I know how the first one might have sounded. Might have sounded exhausting. Might have sounded like I'm telling you that you're going to have to white knuckle your way through every single meal for the rest of your life. And I promise you, I am not because I could not have lasted 8 years running on willpower. Nobody could. Willpower always runs out eventually. Here is the difference, and it is truly everything. My body actually healed when I started giving it what it genuinely needed, real food, enough protein, all the things we talk about on this show. My body became what we like to call thin adapted. And once that happened, it stopped being this constant fight. The cravings quieted down. My body stopped working against me and started working with me. And that's the whole secret, my friend. It's not more willpower. It's a healed body that is no longer fighting you. The third thing nobody tells you is that maintenance is a range, not a single magic number. And I need you to really hear this one because it trips up so many people. Your weight is going to move around a little bit. It just is. It moves with the day, with your hormones, with your cycle, with how much water you drank and how salty your dinner was last night, right? That's not you failing. That's a normal body doing completely normal things. If you caught my episode about the scale, you already know I don't want you white knuckling one exact number. I maintain a range, a few pounds up, a few pounds down, and I truly don't panic about any of it. It's just information, right? It's not a verdict on your worth. It's not a verdict on my worth. So pick your range and then give yourself room to be a human being inside of that range. All right, that brings me to the fourth thing, and this one might be the most important of them all. Perfection is not the point. And it's not the goal, right? It's never the point. It's never the goal. In 8 years, I have been on plenty of vacations. I have celebrated all the holidays. I have walked through hard seasons where I didn't eat perfectly at all. Life happens. Birthday cake happens. A rough week happens. The real skill of maintenance is not about never straying, right? It's about coming back and knowing how to do it quickly. That's the whole game. Not never falling off, but knowing how to get back on quickly without the shame spiral, without letting the whole thing unravel. Because here's what I know for sure. The people who keep it off aren't the ones who never mess up. They're the ones who've learned how to come back at the very next meal. Like it's no big deal at all, because it's not. The fifth thing is that your why has to grow up right along with you. When you are first trying to lose weight, your why is often about a number or an event or how you want to look in a photo. And that's perfectly fine to get you started, but it's not going to carry you for 8 years. It's simply not deep enough. Somewhere along the way, my reason changed, right? It wasn't about a number on the scale. It became more about my energy, about how I want to feel when I wake up in the morning, about being here, about being strong, about being fully present for the people I love for a long time. That kind of why doesn't quit on you when things get hard. That's the reason that carries you through all the years, long after the thrill of the before and after has worn off. And the sixth thing, and this is the good news I most want to leave you holding on to, is that it actually gets easier, not harder. Easier. I know it's hard to believe if you're in the thick of the hard part right now, but there truly is a point where this stops being something you're doing and it just quietly becomes who you are. It stops being a diet you're on and it simply becomes the way you eat, the way you live. You stop having to think about it so hard. It becomes as automatic as brushing your teeth in the morning. And that's the kind of freedom I didn't even know was possible back when I was fighting my own body so hard every single day. All right. Now, I told you it becomes automatic, and it truly does. But I want to be real with you because automatic doesn't mean I don't do anything, right? Doesn't mean I do absolutely nothing. There are a handful of small things, just a few, that I really focus on because they're the anchors that hold the whole thing in place. And the beautiful part is how simple they are. Okay, the first one is my electrolytes, right? I'm actually holding them up as I say this. And I mean this. This is one habit I hold on to even when every other thing in my life is falling apart. On the good days, I do it. On the hard days, the busy days, the days when everything else goes right out the window, I still get my electrolytes in. It is my non-negotiable, the one anchor that never moves. Because when I am properly hydrated with my electrolytes, so much falls into place. My energy is steadier, my cravings are quieter, and I just feel more like myself. If I could get you to build one single habit from this whole episode, it would honestly be this one. The next one is protein. I build every single meal around protein first. It's the thing that keeps me full. It keeps my blood sugar steady and it keeps the cravings from ever really getting a foothold in the first place. If you heard my episode on protein, you already know why it matters so much. Electrolytes and protein, those two things together are the foundation that everything else stands on. Another one is I keep the trigger foods out of my everyday life. And I don't mean forever in some rigid, white-knuckled, never again kind of way, but I figured out a long time ago that the foods that spike me and set off my cravings are simply not things I keep sitting in my pantry as everyday staples. Because when they're around all the time, it's just harder, plain and simple. So I don't turn my whole life into a daily battle of willpower. I just mostly don't invite the fight into my house to begin with. And the last one is I keep a gentle eye on my range. I step on the scale, not to judge myself or to beat myself up, but simply to stay aware. So if I notice I'm drifting up toward the top of my range, I catch it early while it's a 2-pound conversation instead of a 20-pound one. right? That little bit of awareness is a huge part of what has kept a slip from ever quietly becoming a slide for 8 years running. None of it's extreme. None of it's miserable. It's just a few simple anchors that I've made automatic over time, and they quietly hold everything else in place. All right, so let me make all of this practical, whether you're years into maintenance like me or you're still right in the middle of losing, because this matters just as much for you if you're still on your way there. In fact, especially then. First, and this is the big one, so lean in. Do not do anything to lose the weight that you're not willing to keep doing to maintain it. All right, I want you to listen clearly. Don't do anything to lose the weight that you're not willing to keep doing to maintain it. If a plan is so extreme, so miserable, so restrictive that you can't possibly picture yourself living that way for years, it's not going to work, because the day you stop is the day it all comes back. So build the thing you can actually live with right from the very beginning. That changes everything. Second, decide on your range now, even before you get there. Give yourself a few pounds of grace in either direction and decide ahead of time that a little movement inside that range isn't failure. It's just life happening in a normal body. Third, and this is so important, make your plan for coming back before you ever actually need it, because you're going to need it. We all do. Decide right now today on a calm and clear day that one hard meal or one indulgent weekend doesn't undo a single thing, and that you simply come back at the very next meal. When you decide that in advance, a slip stays a slip instead of turning into a spiral. And fourth, go find your real why, the grown-up one, not the number, the life. Who do you want to be? How do you want to feel in your own body? Who are you really doing this for? Anchor yourself to that, because that is the thing that will still be standing tall long after the motivation has faded away. So here's what I want you to walk away with today. Maintenance is not some finish line that you cross one time and then you're finally done. It's not a test that you're always in danger of failing. It's a life. It's a good and freeing and peaceful life that you get to live. And I promise you, it is so much lighter and so much freer than the constant cycle of losing and gaining ever was. On the other side of the fight is a kind of peace with food and with your own body that is worth every bit of the work it takes to get there. And I'm not special. I know it's easy to hear someone say 8 years and think, well, she must have something I don't have. I promise you, I don't. I weighed 288 pounds. I was overweight most of my life. So if I can heal my body and keep this off for 8 years, then so can you. That's not just a nice thing to say to make you feel good. I mean it with my whole heart. All right, if you're ready to do this in a way you can actually live with, a way that heals your body so that keeping it off finally stops being a fight, that's exactly what the Thin Adapted System is built for. It'll walk you through the whole thing, step by step. You can find it anytime at getthinlicious.com/thinadaptedsystem. Thank you guys for being here with me today. Take good care of yourself, feed yourself well, and remember, you are made to feel better and live free.